Good morning. I'm glad to see you here. I once again did not plan on coming on, but of course, we always have to have some sort of clarification from people, who just sort of give their opinions and there's not really much fact or research behind it. And I can't stand it's a pet peeve for me. And it's like I have to repeat myself over and over again just to clarify actual facts and truth. Which is why I'm going to go into TikTok very soon. But I'm going to go in the order that the actual title goes in, okay? And we will get to the mess of TikTok very soon. Good morning, everybody. So let's start off with Mica Miller. Now, I have gone over this case, I don't know, so much that I could probably recite everything in my sleep. So some people seem to have gone over to other creators. They listen to my show and other shows, and then they go over and they bother other creators with questions about things I've mentioned. It's obvious because I can tell from the material, and I do watch other creators and what they put out there because we're in a world of a mainstream media that puts out whatever they feel like putting out. It's all based on opinion. It's all based on propaganda, and I hate that because to me that's just lies. But let's just go over a couple of the things that were brought up recently in some of the shows referring to Mica Miller. For example, for the 9 millionth time, I have said that Agatha May never had said anything about a waterway near Tom Winslow's property. If any of you Agatha May fans are out there, if you don't hear me this time, please seek help because I'm making this very clear. Oh, by the way, this is pre-coffee. Leave the woman alone, okay? Get a life, get a channel, do something, but stop bouncing between creators trying to cause havoc. Yes, someone can be transported by boat. For example, people who go fishing use these boats. If you looked at Johnny Jacob's boat, for example, these boats, people have put on large fish that they've caught out of the water. Okay, very same boats. It's also possible if you can do that, you can carry a person. And when you're talking about less than a mile, it's really not that difficult. It's because most people don't look into the size of the boat, the weight of the boat, and the environment of the water of that day on whether that was even possible. It is possible. I've also opened up to the idea of her being brought there by ATV. Some people have claimed, without showing me a picture of one, that an ATV can have a flatbed on it and have carried her to the slough as well, which once again, that Ann Road fits in. Now, let's talk about pings. When you bring up phone pings and you just say, well, I don't know if a phone ping will tell where she was, but I don't know. I didn't really look into it, but that's just my opinion. Okay, well, that doesn't help the matter. Look it up because it's there. I mean, Google gives answers to everything pretty much. And according to San Diego Sheriff's Department, okay, and they were able to share with us that a ping doesn't necessarily locate the phone. So it's not as if, they send out a signal and, oh, there's the phone. It's sitting right there. No, it actually sends the phone is located and sends out the signal to where it's possible location. Let me just read it to you. It doesn't necessarily mean that where it's located, but rather it's a signal sent to the device requesting a location update, which can then determine its location. So it's sending a signal out to the phone, and the phone sends out its location. So what does that mean? That means that at 1281 Princess Anne Road, Mica's phone and or watch was in that location of 1281 Princess Anne Road. That doesn't mean that it was in the middle of the field of 1281 Princess Anne Road. It means it was there or in its surroundings. Same with the ping above the slough. Okay? Which doesn't fit the narrative of anything else but a boat. Because there's nothing else around it. There's nothing else around it but marshy land, and you're not going to drive an ATV through that. Okay? So if you actually look things up and research and get facts, these things come to play. Trying to downgrade actual research and facts that people have spent money and looked into just based on opinion, I think is irresponsible. It's not good reporting. It's, if you're just somebody who's going to make a show based on, well, this is what I think, then say that. Then say, this is just an op-ed, which is an opinion edition, and I'm just going to do an op-ed of what I think. This is not based on any research, not based on any opinion. Say that, and then people will just take it as entertainment, if that's what it's for. But if you're looking for actual truth and fact, which most people are looking for and want, especially in a situation like this, then it has to be based on some sort of research, some sort of proof, and proving what kind of environment the whole area was in at the time through the United States Geological Survey Department and the Sheriff's Department and documentation, and being able to figure out, what does a ping mean? What does a ping mean? I just explained it. This doesn't mean everybody that goes and is an Agatha May or Robbie Harvey fan go run over to them and go, Ann said this and Ann said that. If you do that and I find out about it, I'm blocking you from my channel. Because you're just a drama queen. You're looking to cause drama and problems in between creators. And I'm not into that. And I don't think any of the other creators are into that either. And I can tell that if you're going into her chat and you're asking her all these questions, what you're doing is you're taking my material and you're going over to her and you're trying to debunk me or debunk her. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's drama. And if you're a Christian, shame on you, because you're a troublemaker. I've already based everything I've ever reported on based on fact or finding through research. Nothing is based on opinion. When I have an opinion about a person, but I don't give opinion or speculation on situations. I base it on findings. Okay, if you can debunk it, do it with fact. That's all I have to tell you. But if you're going to go bouncing in between, and I'm going to go looking in the chats now, and I'm going to find you. And if I find you in my chat or I find you following me, you're gone. Because I will not tolerate that. You're not looking for truth. You're looking for trouble. And I have no time for that, which is a great segue to TikTok. TikTok is a big garbage pail. I've said this before. And I don't see it surviving tomorrow. Tomorrow is April 5th, which is the day where this horrible platform, which is really, a problem for national security, number one. Number two, I had just seen a video of a woman who was threatening the life of our leader, of our president, on TikTok. Now, this is what TikTok allows. YouTube won't allow it. Facebook won't allow it. Twitter X won't allow it. Instagram won't allow it. But TikTok will. I don't know, Rosie. Why don't you look that up, hon? I don't know. I have no idea what time it was requested. It's all on that. The second ping. It's all on there. It's all on the PowerPoint presentation. If you just look at Mica Miller PDF on Google, you'll be able to get the Robeson County Sheriff Department PowerPoint presentation May 7th. Anyhow, the point is that her phone was in that area at that time. Whatever time it was in that area. It was within that area. The signal to the phone, okay, it was, hey, where are you, phone? That's what it sent out. And the phone said, "Here I am," sent it back. And it was in that area. Unless you can explain why it was there other than these other conspiracy theories, and that's what that is, she was on a boat. The end. So moving on. TikTok. There is massive drama and I am annoyed today. I am annoyed because people who don't want to start their own channel or do their own thing bounce between other people who do and try to cause problems, and I'm just not in the mood for it today. Now, I'm not saying you are doing that, Rosie, or not, but I just said I'm moving on to TikTok. And that's what I'm doing. And if I'm a little snappy today, it's because I'm tired of the drama. If I could show you the drama that's going on TikTok, it is off the charts. Off the charts. People who refer to themselves as Christians, people who say they go to church, people who say they believe in Jesus Christ, they are the opposite on TikTok. You said this and you said that. Well, but you said this and you said that. But okay, but then you said this and you said this. Goes on all the time. And when I tell you that they all group 200, 250 amount of people, this is how big the chat is when these fights are going on. Mica Miller isn't even discussed anymore. Justice for Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 and all the other Jane Does, nobody cares about anymore. Chris Skinner, nobody talks about anymore. It's all about who hurt my feelings and who offended me. I'm overly offended. I'm constantly offended. I want to go and talk to this one about that one to this one. And that's exactly what you people did. The ones who came in here, you Agatha May lovers, and went over there and talked about me and tried to pit me and her against each other. That's what you did. You're wicked. You're just as wicked as the people on TikTok. Okay, you're poison to social media. You are the kind of people that needs to get off of social media and get a life. You need to get a life. And if you think I'm telling you off, you're right. I was on TikTok one time on a live, right? I'm on the panel. And I'm just talking to the people on the panel. We're talking about the drama that's going on the lives. And this woman comes on the panel. And I make the comment that I just made now. I says, well, TikTok is like a garbage pail. This woman went off. I'm offended, she said. I'm so offended. You know what I said to her? Why? Are you getting a paycheck from TikTok? Are you the owner or CEO of TikTok? Why the hell do you care about what I'm saying about TikTok? So offended, she got off the panel. That's how offended she was. This is people who are miserable in their own life. They have no control over themselves, their behavior, or the people around them don't want to tolerate their bad behavior anymore. They go on social media and they do these kinds of things. And they come on and I've either had people that were overly offended or people that contact me and demand that I look into what they think happened to Mica that day. No, you know what? You go and you find out. You do a channel and you go talk about it. If you wanted to, you're not paying me. You're not my boss. Don't tell me what to look into and what to do. This is not, I'm not here for your entertainment or to kiss your rear end. It's amazing, the keyboard warrior. I bet if I showed up at your front door and faced you to your face, you'd have a different tone of voice. You wouldn't be so demanding. But you're also cocky and arrogant when you're on social media, right? How pathetic. It is toxic, Rissa. And so I look forward to TikTok being taken down. I got to tell you, I'm shocked by the amount of people on X who are asking President Trump to get rid of it, to just ban it. How toxic it is. You can't even push the truth. And to know that this woman, she was American, by the way, that's looking to threaten the life. She said she wanted to do to him, President Trump, what that guy did to the CEO of that healthcare, the United Healthcare. That's what she wanted to do to President Trump if TikTok goes down. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? And you know who got tagged? You know who got tagged in that comment? They are high schoolers. And they're trying to infiltrate their nonsense onto places like YouTube and Facebook, obviously, because they took all that work that I did the other day on that second, and I want to tell you about that second video. It did make it to the FBI. It went absolutely viral. I didn't expect that to happen, but it did. The one about the Ann Road and then coming across the creek and being so close to the slough. Okay. If that was speculative and there was no truth to it, why end up in the lap of the FBI? This is the second time. So if a person can't be put in a boat, prove it. Prove it. Friggin' prove it or shut up. Find something else to do. I'm done. Okay? We're talking about the death of a girl. This is not some, let me go find some clicks and likes so that, that I can build my channel. Screw you and your channel, and screw you and your audience. Okay? Just because I don't sit here talking with a controlled voice, like I belong on Star Trek, doesn't mean that I'm giving you fake news or false, opinions about what I speculate might have happened on that day. I'm giving you exact information based on an investigation that Robeson County did. Okay? Good, bad, or indifferent, this is the investigation that they did on her death. And then I'm using that information and the timeline that we last see her and giving you a reason of why we believe she was found there the way she was found there. Okay. For example, Charles McKinnon was brought up. Why? I didn't pull his friggin' name out of the air. Johnny Jacobs mentioned him in an interview. Duh. Again, if you go and you look into facts, you'd find it. And you would find that Johnny Jacobs and Charles McKinnon are friends. That's it. It's the only reason why Charles McKinnon has ever been brought into this is because they're friends. And he happens to be friends with both Johnny Jacobs and Tommy Walters. Nobody ever said Tommy Walters killed Mica. Okay? Not one person. Yet, some idiot goes and says that to Agatha May. Some mental midget goes over to Agatha May and says that. And if that offends you, I don't really give a crap. You offended me. And now you're getting it because I have the mic. Because I have the mic. You don't like what I said? Stop running over to other content creators and get your own damn mic and you say it. And you tell me what you think with your voice and your face. That's the other thing. Anne-Marie, why don't you show your face anymore? I did show my face. And I had a pastor make fun of me, mock me, and his flying monkeys. One put a pig nose on my face, and the other one gave an address to Weight Watchers. This time you can't see me, so you can't use that against me anymore. So now what do? They go after my material. Well, guess what? My material made it to the FBI. Did yours? Did anybody call you and ask you for your material? No, I bet you they didn't. Why? Because it's all speculative. Because it's all opinion-based, and the feds don't need opinions. They couldn't care less about opinions. And trust and believe. And again, this does not reflect on Agatha May and Robbie Harvey. I must have said that a million times. I'm going to write a friggin' sign out that says that for the morons who want to cause trouble between the content creators. Okay? You're not welcome here. Don't come here. I don't want you here. I really just don't want people like you here. I'm not here for clicks and likes because if I did, I'd be making money. Question the people who make money on this because I don't. I do this for free. And what you see is what you get. You want to know what I look like? Go look at the other videos. You can see my face. If you're so interested in how I look. But I'm not putting that out anymore. Not to be mocked or be made fun of. anymore. You're going to hear my voice. This way, you have to pay attention to what's being said. And only the critical thinkers can hear what I'm saying and get the truth from it. Only the critical thinkers. And I can see them in the chat. They always show up. They understand what's being said. They agree with what's being said. They actually feel this way and thank me. They go, I've been feeling this way for so long. Thank you for saying it. Thank you. You know how many times I get that? And you know why these people are thanking me? Because they don't want to go up against all these drama queens. They don't want to have to deal with the backlash that they get from these drama queens who have no life. And that's what you have, drama queens. No life. You have no character. You have no content. You have nothing to offer and nothing to give. And because you want to be heard, you come on social media and you say absolutely nothing but trash. And we have to tolerate it because we're nice people. We're nice people and we give you a chance to maybe be human. And you never, ever become human. If I'm ranting, I'm sorry. But I'm up to my eyeballs. When I had seen Agatha May's video this morning, and this has, again, no reflection on her. This poor woman has to stop what she's doing and has to answer all the questions of these little crybabies. Well, I heard this and I heard that. And what do you do? Why couldn't you come to me and ask me? Why do you have to go to her? And badger her to answer the questions. And you know what? She couldn't answer any of them. Why? Because she didn't investigate those things. The things that she's investigated in and I've piggybacked on were actually fact-based. She didn't investigate this, just like Rasheem Carter. They brought up Rasheem Carter. She's not investigating Rasheem Carter. I know a group of women that are. You just insulted all those women who are spending their time, breath, and energy and money in investigating this guy. Let them find out whether there's a connection or not. Not somebody who spends 5 minutes to talk about it on a video. I'm so livid right now. I can't, maybe I should have waited before coming on. But maybe the truth needs to be said. This has been going on for almost a year. We are now in April of 2025. Okay? April 27th, 2025 will be a year that Mica's been gone. And you know, all that's been is drama. Every one of us that has tried to put the truth forward has been bombarded by attacks and insults and lawsuits. By the way, I'm the only content creator that was sued by John Paul Miller. The only one. I wonder why. He didn't sue Robbie. He didn't sue Agatha. He didn't sue Steph. He didn't sue CJ. He didn't sue Justin. He didn't sue JLR. He didn't sue Fitz News. But he sued me. Why? Why would that be? Why would people do that? They are low IQ, Tiff. You know why they do that? You know why he came after me? Because I got too close to the truth. And it doesn't, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. That doesn't mean that everything I found is set in stone. But I'll tell you where most of my intel came from, Almighty God. You want to challenge and question Almighty God? You go do that. You go do that. Every time I found truth, I prayed first. I've said this before. Maybe it bears repeating. See, I don't put on churchianity, fake Christian that most people do when they go to church and they sit in a building every Sunday and they think that makes them a Christian. Then they come on social media and they cause drama. And they pit people against each other. And I don't feel, again, that me and Agatha are pitted against each other. I love her and I love her work. And let me clarify that for the 9 millionth time. But I don't like that she felt the need of having to go and answer these questions because a bunch of mindless wits went over there questioning the work that I did, because it's obvious. Every single thing I brought up in that video, that second video that ended up with the feds, is what they questioned her with. That's what they did. And this is the same drama that we see on TikTok, but times it by 100. I'm serious. And I'm angry. I'm angry right now because I put my heart and soul into this and I haven't made a dime. I've spent more money on this case than I got back. Okay? And I've gotten back nothing. You know, during the time of the lawsuit, there were people that were sending money through Cash App for me to hire an attorney. And at one point I said, stop it. No more. Don't send anymore. Don't send anything. I can't take this money. And I was even looking to give it back. And the people were like, don't worry about it. Just keep it. Do whatever you want with it. Don't even worry about it. And so I did. It was about, I don't know, $400 or $500. I really wanted to give it back. And it was during a time where a lot of the people that were getting this money on TikTok felt very bad for the people that were being sued. And I thought, how wonderful. But, you know, when I prayed about it, God was like, no, I'm going to take care of it. Now, one or two people I was able to give some of it back, but the rest, they just wouldn't accept it. They just said, don't worry about it. And you know what? If you hear my voice and that's any of you people, thank you for that. That was very kind of you, really, because you didn't have to do that. I did not expect that. And I don't expect to get paid. I don't have memberships. I don't have Patreons. You know, whatever I have for you, I bring to you here because you have a right to hear the truth. You have a right to hear all of any kind of information I have, any kind of evidence that I have. I'm not going to keep it from you. If I'm not able to share it on YouTube, it's only because YouTube won't allow me. And so I'll put it somewhere else where you can see it. But I'm sure the hell ain't going to make you pay for it. You know, I'm just not going to do that. And I'm not putting down the people that do that. If they do that for a living, God bless them. But I've always said that for Mica's case, I'm not going to take a dime. Why? Because I want to, what that girl has been through. She pretty much gave up half her life to this guy, right? And then lost her life because of this guy. No one yet has been able to prove that he is an innocent man. Not one person. And we've been able to prove her last place of where she was seen and then the place that she was found. Okay. And it's not like there's 100 ways to get there. I'll give you another example. Okay. One of the things that came up in this video was fair bluff, bear bluff crap. I got to tell you, I feel like ripping my hair out when I hear this. Once again, bring proof. My proof is go play it. Go play it, ladies and gentlemen. Go play the fair bluff, bear bluff. Go play it. Go play the 911 call. It's all over the place. It's on my channel. It's on CJ's channel. It's all over the place. Go play that 911 call. Turn on your closed caption. Turn it on. Turn it on. I'll bet you my bottom dollar it says bear bluff with a B. Not one. I played it on multiple devices with closed caption, all came up bear bluff. So if you want to keep doing this fair bluff, bear bluff argument, do it. Do it. See, I can prove it says B. BoobTube TV proved it was B. Other people have actually shown it says B. But you want to keep harping on F. I'll tell you what you could do with your F, okay? Now, for the 7 millionth time, let me say this again. It doesn't matter if they said fair bluff, bear bluff, New York City, the moon, the North Pole, Miami, Florida. It doesn't matter what the frig they said on that call. Do you understand me this time? Stop with the fair bluff, bear bluff crap. It doesn't matter. It was not part of the script. If you listen to how they answer the question, they did not expect to be asked That's why they answer with a hesitation. Bear Bluff? I mean, what are you, retarded? You can't hear this? We've been listening to this for a year. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And then the ATV thing. Now we're gonna try to debunk the ATV thing. Dude, please. You're making a fool out of yourself. For what? To appease all these drama queens? To appease all these drama queens. They did this to CJ. Oh, Ann said bear, and you said fair, but she said bear, and you said fair. And again, they tried to pit me and him against each other. Instead of go make your own channel. If you want to make a big deal about this, go make your own channel. Stop pitting all the content creators against each other, drama queens. What's the problem? Your husband won't sleep with you anymore? What's the problem? You look in the mirror, you don't like what you see? What's the problem? Your friends don't talk to you anymore because you're a pain in the butt? Because you're a demanding, drama queen who's always causing trouble everywhere you go, so you go on social media to cause trouble? If this offends you, I'm probably telling the truth about you, right? Yeah, I know, Tiff. And I figured some of you did see, she says, I wondered about all of this from last night's show. Thank you for addressing. And I figured, anything is possible. I respect everyone's thoughts. We are all here united as Mica's voice. Listen, I respect the work that all these other content creators do. Okay? And I don't make shows to lambaste them. I don't make shows to go, well, and it's obvious, to insinuate that everything they just reported was nonsensical. And then I back it up with what? Nothing. I back it up with opinion. So you're going to insult my work based on your opinion? And for who? For people who just love drama. These people they're rubbing their hands together going, yeah, I got them pitted. Well, you know what? I pray you people. I'm not talking about Agatha. I'm not talking about Robbie. I'm talking about the drama queens that did this. I pray in the name of Jesus Christ that your internet goes down and your devices break, that you have no access to social media, that you find a life and seek help, that you get delivered by this manipulative witchcraft, occult kind of attitude that you have. And don't tell me you're a Christian. You're not a Christian. When you go pitting one person's work against another, that's evil. That's wicked. That's a wicked way to be. And you're the kind of drama that is just saturated through TikTok. Just saturated. Yes, a lot of people turned on CJ. For what reason? He has spent counts. I'll tell you why they turned on CJ. I'll tell you why they turned on CJ. Because CJ was kind enough to go from across the country, okay? He's working on Sebastian Rogers. You want the truth? I'll give you the truth. He's working on Sebastian Rogers minding his business. He leaves the Mica Miller thing because of the phone call that was made to Robbie Harvey insinuating CJ did something wrong, which he didn't. Okay? He didn't do it. And he felt horrible about that accusation. You know what that's like? The protesters contacted me and said, we don't feel safe with Jesus J around. We don't feel safe. We don't feel protected. We want CJ to come back. They requested him back because of Jesus J. And so I said to those girls, listen, I'll contact him too, but you have to also contact him. You have to ask him yourself. So they did. And so did I. And out of his own pocket, with his own car, on his own time, left his investigation of Sebastian Rogers and came to the protests. And you know what happened? He called out Jesus J, and he was mistreated all over TikTok. All over TikTok, these idiots did all these videos to disparage CJ. What kind of person is he? He caused so much. I don't like this drama. That's what they did. That's what they did for a guy who came to protect and take care of those girls who called on him. They called on his help. And not one person stood up for him except me. Yeah. This is what happens, though, when people pit each other against each other. CJ doesn't even know that I stood up for him. He has no idea. And he left the whole case probably feeling like crap. I'm glad to know he's come back at least to go to that intersection of Johnny Jacobs. I haven't spoken to him since. And why? Because of people like this that go in between the content creators and cause drama. And I'm sick of you. I am sick to death of you. You're useless, like tits on a bull. You need to go away. You don't help Mica. You couldn't care less about Mica. All you want is to be heard. You're a selfish narcissist, just like John Paul. You're no better than John Paul Miller or True Crime Ray or any of those other people that stood up for this abuser. You are just as bad as he is. When you go in between shows causing drama. And if that's you and you're listening, I mean that for you. You're pathetic. I have no respect for you whatsoever. And I can't even say go back to TikTok because it looks like those days are up. Absolutely disgusting. I'm disgusted, really, with the people who have said they were seeking justice for this poor girl, and they've done nothing but cause problems and havoc and division and chaos and separation. That's all they have done. That's all they've done. Okay? And I think it's just sad. But again, it hasn't gotten in the way of any of this evidence getting to the right hands to the authorities. It hasn't stopped me from moving forward and working on Mica's case. Yeah, I may take some time off here and there because things like this get to me. They bother me. And sometimes they bother me so much that it puts me in bed. It puts me in bed. Yeah, and let me tell you, Jamie, I do think CJ's got a wonderful heart and a wonderful soul. And I support him 100% too. And there's a lot of things that CJ and I didn't agree on, but that doesn't mean that I don't respect him as a content creator or respect his investigative work. I'm not going to sit and question when he's been boots on the ground. Okay, well, don't question me either. I'm not speculating or pulling this out of the air or basing everything on opinion. Okay, everything was based on findings. Okay, now people could say, well, you speculated how she got from the gas station, to the slough. Really? Are you sure about that? Can you explain a better way that that phone sent out the signal of its location in those two places, which makes this even worse? Think about it. If pinging a phone means that they send out a signal to the phone and the phone answers by saying, here I am. And when it raises its little phone hand, I'm doing you can't see me, but I'm raising my hand like, here I am. It's saying, I'm at 1281 Princess Anne Road, or I'm above the slough in this creek. How do you debunk that? How do you debunk that, people? Just like the Fair Bluff, Bear Bluff thing. When closed caption says Bear Bluff, how do you debunk that? Well, I hear Fair Bluff. I don't give a crap what you friggin' hear. Closed freaking caption here's B. So that means your F is out. Jesus, help me, Father. Stay close to me, Lord. Same with the boat. How could you say she couldn't be transported by boat? How many boats have you been on that you can say this? I grew up on Long Island, okay? We're surrounded by water. I've been on boats, my whole childhood, boats, you name it. I've been on yachts. I've been on fishing boats. Okay. I've seen them and I've touched them and I've been in them. My husband's a sailor. Yes, she could have been on a boat. And it didn't have to be motorized. Okay. Again, the spot that crisscrossed Ann Road and the creek is about 0.6 of a mile to where she was found. Okay, a strong man, two strong men, or just one strong man could have rowed that boat and it would have taken less than 10 minutes. If you know what you're doing. Did you look at Johnny Jacobs' boat? I mean, how big do you think Mica was? She was 5'5" and what, 140 pounds? You don't think you can fit that woman on a boat? And what proof do you have to debunk that? Nothing. Well, my opinion, I don't give a crap about your opinions. Do you have fact? Do you have fact to back it up? No. And shut it down. Because you're not helping. You are not helping seeking justice for Mica. You're helping build an audience for yourself. That's what's happening. That's what bothers me. A lot of content creators do that. They base things on, well, my opinion is, I don't give a shit about your opinion. I just cursed. I don't care. Don't you get it? We have got that from MSNBC. We got that from CNN. We got that from BBC. We got that from Washington Post. We got that from all the liars of mainstream that lied to the people that ended up pretty much sending them to their death because they pushed propaganda and opinion. Pardon me, everybody, for cursing. I'm sorry. But I'm beyond at this point. I am beyond with this. You want to go do content and you want to build your channel, great. Go build it on something that's creative then. Go do something you're good at. This is what I'm talking about with social media. When I built Creator to Class back in 2012, there was a purpose behind it. I had seen too many of the fashion houses and the fashion shows where the women were being clothed like hookers. Okay? And then in the Hollywood award shows, the celebrities would dress with these dresses. Excuse me. And their boobs would be hanging out, and their butts would be hanging out, and everything's would be hanging out. And I said, oh, there's got to be some class. And then you'd see these celebrities that you could tell they came from poverty, and they made a success out of themselves, and they got a lot of money. Short period of time, their album or their, record or their song or whatever hit the top of the charts, and now they're stars. And so they made a lot of money, and they've got gold teeth, and they've got purple Cadillacs, and it was loud, obnoxious. It was ridiculous. The Kardashians also didn't help. Right? And really, you saw an article in the New York Post about the opening up of Chris Unaliving. Yes, it is really gaining attention. Thank Jesus, Sharon. Thank Jesus. And so anyway, I said, Creator to Class means the creators of class in French, right? And so I said, let me introduce TikToxic. Let me introduce a more quieter, sophisticated, conservative way of being wealthy. So that meant clothing was more conservative but beautiful. Same with the jewelry, same with home decor. You could have a lot of money, but Sharon, you could have a lot of money, but you don't have to be obnoxious about it. You don't have to be arrogant about it. You don't have to be gaudy about it. There's class, and it's quiet. It's not vulgar. And so that's what Created a Class was built on. It was, and I started to make traction. I really did. The first people, believe it or not, that I came across and made friends with was Versace. You talk about loud. I mean, a lot of colors, a lot. We were very minimalist. And here they were massive in color. But there were some pieces that Versace did that we supported, that we said, okay, we will advertise. And we made friends with them. And then we started to make friends with a lot of, and I think I've said this once before, we made a lot of contacts with luxury real estate and luxury jewelry lines, and even got involved with diamond mining and stuff like that, and the diamond industry in New York City, in Antwerp, Belgium, and Israel. But then, unfortunately, I had found out about the corruption, the demonic corruption in a lot of the luxury industry. Not all of it, but a lot. And I had to pull back. My point of saying all this is I went on social media with Created a Class with content. And it wasn't just advertising. We did articles where we would research about how to invest your money, how to spend your money. We had different articles about different things that it helped people be a better person. It helped people to improve their lives. It helped people to improve their character. And that's what social media should do. Okay? We need less of people who bring drama, fighting, chaos, arguing, division. We need less of that. We need less of the porn. We need less of the attacks, the harassment. We need less of that. And we need more, and this is on content creators now. If you're going to be a content creator, have content. Have content. Just being able to speak with a controlled voice is not content. It just means you could speak with a controlled voice. How much more do you offer with that controlled voice? What's behind it? Are you going to read a story? Are you going to report the news? Actual news, truth? Like, what are you going to do? Or are you just going to speculate and give opinions? That's an op-ed, okay? And those things exist. And there's nothing wrong with op-eds. But say that. Say this show is based on, or is an like The View. The View is not based on truth. The View is based on opinions. That's a whole show of 4 women that get together and give their opinion. And if that's who you're going to be in content, then say that. But don't give the impression that you're here to investigate what happened to this girl and then base it all on opinions and try to debunk people who actually did what they did by working. I don't know, this is off topic, but the journalist that did the interview with Mr. Miller about the reopening of Chris Skinner's death was absolutely awful. Well, who did an interview with who? John Paul Miller? John Paul Miller did an interview about Chris Skinner's death being reopened. Well, if you're talking about John Paul Miller, of course he's not going to be happy about that, because there's one or two things is going to happen. Either A, they're going to find out that Chris did this to himself. God help us. I would hate to think that's what happened, but let's just say that is what happened. And that's going to question Susie's, she collected all this money from the insurance. Now they're going to have to get it back. Right. Bring receipts and facts, not opinions. Thank you, Tiff. or it's going to open up the possibility that somebody did this to him. So either way, it doesn't work out well for Susie and JP. Robbie Harvey covered him and said about Chris' sister, Tamara, was sickening. I feel very bad for that family. I feel very, very bad for that family. Yeah. It's horrible with these, and that's the whole thing. We're dealing with people here. We're dealing with grieving families. That includes Rashim Carter. That mother deserves the truth. And just because there are people who are still working on it, hasn't been reported on, you know why? Because it's not done being investigated. To report on it now would be irresponsible. But I know of a group of women. Those women are the ones who've brought facts to this case. Let me bring you their names. Sorted Out Sleuthing was one. They Can't Unalive Us All. You know, her name starts with, it's really an S, but I can't say it. I don't want to say it because I don't want to get in trouble. Leslie, she's got her own little TikTok show. I hope she comes to YouTube. She's very good. And then me. And then the girl Kristen that works for me, who's done a lot of digging for me. I'm not sure if I'm missing anybody. I don't think I am. If I am, forgive me. And this is a group of women that don't base anything on opinion. They want facts and they dig. And let me tell you something. We have a Facebook group together, Messenger. And they dig and dig and dig, and they come up with files. And we've got one girl who goes back into time looking for news clippings, and you got another one that's getting police reports, and you got another one who's doing background checks, and they're all getting information that's helps with the investigation. They are looking into Rashim Carter. They are looking to see if his boss, Luke Clement, who lives in North Carolina, has any kind of relationship. Really, to be true, the honest to God truth, is to see if there's any connection with Kirk Hanna of Hanco Construction in South Carolina. Kirk Hanna happens to be good friends with John Paul Miller. Amber from Myrtle Beach. I know that some people are looking into Amber. We kind of hit a brick wall. With Amber. And I think I have an idea on why, Jamie. We're talking about Amber Berbiglia. He's asking, or I'm not Jamie. I'm sorry if you're a girl. I'm sorry I said he. I don't have my glasses on. I just put them on. Anne, are you still looking into that girl, Amber, which is Berbiglia from Myrtle Beach, about her death? I know CJ was at one point, but I haven't heard anything. Okay. You're from Mississippi, and I only heard about Rashim. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm reading everything that you guys are saying. Okay, I'm done with this. I like your work, and I have my own channel, so understand your frustration for calling people ignorant, stupid. Plus, cursing is not how Jesus. Oh, you know what? Then, Barbara, then just go on and do your own thing, hon. If you're such a Pharisee that you're so perfect and you never do anything wrong, and you never sin, and you walk on water and bring everybody back from death, and you just go on, honey, and you go do your own thing. Again, I'm done with this. I'm done with this too. So please go. Please don't come back either. I don't need you to sit here and put me down for calling people out that call me out and call out my work and spend their time trying to debunk me. And if I said the SH word, then get over it. I also apologize to everybody in the audience. Okay? And if you're going to sit here and tell me that none of you ever say a curse word in your whole life, then God bless you. You're so perfect. I wish I could be as perfect as you. So please go. You know nothing about Jesus, because Jesus would rather be around prostitutes and tax collectors and sinners than to be around people who acted like they were perfect. As a matter of fact, he rebuked the Pharisee, because they walked around acting like they were perfect and they knew God. They didn't know God. They got rebuked. He turned around. They were the ones who he said, I never knew you. Okay? So you're done with this? So am I. And I'm sure so is God. This is exactly what I'm talking about, people. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, they are something else. It's absolutely amazing. And I accidentally let it slip too, Sharon, and then I apologize and I repent. But we have to have Barbara here sit there and make sure she corrects us all, because you know why? Because Barbara Deacon is perfect, everyone. Everyone look at Barbara Deacon, because she's perfect. She does nothing wrong. She never did. And I'll tell you what, Barbara, you better repent, because you just called me out in public. So good luck to you. Good luck to you and your channel. I doubt highly it'll get, if this is who you are, you won't get very far. I'll tell you that right now. Because God is done with this Pharisee religious spirit type of Christian. Okay? You go to church and you pour coffee and eat cookies and you think that's all you need to do. You don't know anything about Jesus Christ. You don't know anything about God, obviously, from your comment. Getting back to reality. Amber Berbiglia. I'm sorry, Jamie. I got distracted by the devil. We hit a brick wall with her. And I think the reason why we hit a brick wall, and I don't know if you guys remember her, the dash cam, which was very disturbing. Now, I had sent that dash cam over to a captain of a fire department and first responder in Palm Beach that I know. I said, do me a favor, just look at this and tell me if you see or hear anything that doesn't make sense. And I gave him a backstory on what was happening. And unless you haven't seen it yet, I'll just describe it. But I think CJ's got it on his channel. And you see Amber's car running because you see the smoke coming out of the pipe, the tailpipe. And you know from the story that she's about 30 feet away in the brush to the side, to the driver's side of the car. She's laying there, dying. She's not gone yet because the cop says it. He's got his dash cam running, right? Now, not his body cam. We don't hear all this, but the sound is still going on the dash cam. And I guess he and somebody else go and they look in the car and, you know, they don't see whatever they're looking for. And they walk back behind the car and they're talking. Now, I think that's North Myrtle Beach Police Department. And they say, this is not our jurisdiction. This is Horry County's jurisdiction. So I guess they call them. They're on their way and they're sitting there talking. And as they're talking, they're admitting that she's still warm to the touch and that they got a couple of beats of the pulse. Now, when I heard that, I went, what? Well, why aren't they working on her? Why aren't they? Okay. So I sent this over, as I said, and this guy is an EMT paramedic, a firefighter. And he said to me, well, sometimes, you know, we'll work on somebody, but we can tell that they're beyond. He says, however, there was a however, he said, the police are not equipped or trained to make that call. Only EMTs and paramedics are. And being that there were no EMTs and paramedics there, I have to question why they allowed her to lay there and die. Why didn't they try to work on her? Why didn't they? I am being very badly attacked. Yeah, personally. That's why I'm hiding behind a logo. Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. And I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to, I really am not somebody who likes to get on here and yell and you know, get angry, but it's like, I'm telling you, my work has been attacked. My looks have been attacked. My Christianity has been attacked. My past has been attacked. And then I'm the one who gets sued. Okay. All these other people, nobody, he didn't even touch, he didn't even bother with. It's always me. It's always the one that's getting attacked is the one who actually does walk with the Lord, as you can see. they'll come into my chat and attack me. Jesus called people what they were. Just because he didn't use the word stupid and ignorant doesn't mean I'm sure that this is not how Jesus would handle this. Really? Why? How would you know? How would you know? It's these people out here who did the work. I know, Jamie, and thank you guys. I really appreciate it because you're tolerating me in a very bad mood. And I came on here in a bad mood. I did. When I saw that, I really felt attacked. I really did. And I thought, my God. Oh no. I'm not discouraged by being behind the logo. As a matter of fact, if you look at the picture, my husband made this. It's Axiom with the city behind it. And those police get all the benefits of being the first responders. Yeah, but they didn't do anything. They didn't even work on her. Like, they didn't even do CPR. They just walked away from the car and then started talking. And it looked like everything we were looking into, we kept hitting. When I say a brick wall. Now, the reason I say that it's harder, I think, with Amber than it was Mica. More part of it was the police. I think that they right SOC. Okay, that's your point. I get it. One, it was because I believe that, okay, want to hear speculation here? I haven't really investigated that much, so this will be opinion. Op-ed here, everybody. Disclaimer, op-ed. I think they were involved somehow. They're either covering up, they know who it is, so they're covering up for somebody, or it's one of them. The thing that makes it very difficult is it's such a cold case. Mica was easy because it just happened. So it was fresh. That's why Rasheem Carter is taking so long, because it happened in, I think it was 2021. There were like three or four boys around them as well. Were the boys in the dash cam? Because I didn't see them. I don't remember seeing them. I may not have been paying attention to them. I was really watching the cops and what they were doing. So were those young boys in the dash cam video? Because I'll have to watch it again. I'm hoping that we don't hit a brick wall with Rasheem, because that was absolutely foul play. Absolutely. Yes, when the officer pulled up there was like 3 or 4 boys there, and they had their own trucks. Oh, really? The young boys had their own trucks? Sorry. Oh, wow. I have to watch it again then. I think CJ's got it on his channel. I'll go watch it. And you want to know something about that dash cam? I'm not sure. Amber's family wouldn't have done this, so it's not Amber's family. Okay, I just want to make that clear. On the Justice for Amber Birbiglia page on Facebook, the woman, Gina, who runs that page, who is fat, and by the way, she's a paramedic too, and she noticed the same thing I did. She's an awesome, awesome woman. Yes, they had their own trucks. I guess they pulled up there. It was just kind of odd. The whole thing is odd. They put the dash cam up on the Facebook, the Justice for Amber Facebook page, and they were forced to take it down. Someone reported it. It was not Amber's family, because they want the truth. They want justice. So they were fine with the dash cam being up there. So who would report that? Who would report something like that? You know what I mean? I just want you to think about that. I find that very odd. Please do a deep dive, Sharon. And if you find any, yeah, I know. It's not easy, Sharon. It's really not. We're really right now, like I said, working on trying to find, if, not that we have found, but if there's a connection between Clements Mechanical, which, if I'm not mistaken, works on HVAC and plumbing. for new homes or places or whatnot. And Hanco Construction builds new homes. So it wouldn't be odd for them to know each other. That doesn't necessarily mean that Hanco is involved, but we're looking to see, because a lot of people came to me and said, oh, we think that they're involved with Regime Carter. Please look into Regime Carter. So I was like, okay. And I left it alone for a couple of months because I was so into looking into Mica's case. And then it came back around again, and I figured, okay, there must be a reason. Somebody that was maybe involved and with law enforcement here in Myrtle Beach, I wouldn't put nothing past any of them. Yeah, I agree with you, Jamie. I know so many tentacles never ending. There's a Hanco in Hattiesburg close to me. Okay, so I'm wondering if, because I've seen that, Sharon. Pardon me, guys. I've seen where there's multiple Hanco constructions, and I'm wondering if, come on, when you're a builder and you build new home communities, that's some serious money. And so I think it's important to base your opinions on facts. I do too, RC. I wouldn't be surprised if they, what do you call it, expanded. Now, I don't know if all these Hankos are related to each other. I do know that Kirk Hanna and JP must know each other well enough. I heard that they knew each other, I think, as far back as high school, but I might be wrong. But I do know that Kirk Hanna did own the house that John Paul lives in with John Paul up till 2020. And then it looks like John Paul bought the house or bought him out at I don't know, so under 100,000. It was under 50,000. It was a very little amount. So why would Kirk Hanna own a house that he and Mica live in? I don't know. I do. Thank you, RC. I tried to. I really tried. Like I said, for a really long time, I could not figure out the connection for 1281 Princess Anne Road for Mica, except Tommy Walters being across the street at 1274. That was the only connection that we had to Lumber River State Park. And then somebody showed up in the chat, the video beforehand, not the second video I did the other day, but the video beforehand, and said, please look into Highway 74. And that's all she said. She didn't even say Ann Road. I said, Highway 74, why? And so I'll tell you what, Google Earth is a beautiful thing. If you could use that instead, when you're investigating or looking into something rather than your phone, you will be surprised the difference. And it was like, I said, okay, Lord, what do I do? Look on Google Earth. I was like, okay, so and you don't even have to download it, believe it or not. It's actually a website. Google Earth's got its own website. So you have to download nothing. So you don't have to worry about any space on your computer. And there it was, and I said, okay, let me put it in 1281 Princess Anne Road. And I put it in, and I was able to see the whole area. I'm sitting here at the desk, and my eyes just pan over to the right, and there's Highway 74. The Holy Ghost, and again, you miss out on the supernatural power of God when you're so worried about being perfect. There is no perfect person. We're flawed. A righteous man sins 7 times. It says that in the word, a day. See, if that person who went to attack me earlier knew that it said that in the word, she would understand that that's what just happened. I sinned in front of you and apologized. But that doesn't mean I miss out on the power of God. Okay, David was an adulterer and a murderer, and God used David in a big way. As a matter of fact, he's the lineage of Jesus Christ. Okay, so if you get hooked on being perfect and looking perfect, sounding perfect, being perfect, you're going to miss out on 1, being human, and 2, being a child of God. So there you go. Anyway, I'm always in conversation with him. Okay. And I sit in front of Google Earth, and I'm telling you, it's like something just made me, had to be him, looking towards the right, and there's Highway 74. I wish I could play it for you guys. And my eyes are going from Highway 74 over to 1281 Princess Anne Road, and it's just going back and forth going, I don't believe how close this is. And I just looked closer, and there was Anne Road. And it literally, I showed you guys the other day, it was right against 1281. I went, oh my God. Now remember what I read to you about the ping. Remember what I read to you about the ping. That's very important. The ping is not so much that they send something out and it pings against the phone, because that's what you would think it does. No, it's a signal that's sent out to the phone. And the phone responds, here I am. This is where I am. And so when it responded that day to that call out to its location, it said, here I am. I'm right over here at 1281 Princess Anne Road. Oh, wait a minute. Here I am. I'm right above the slough at the creek. And so all I'm doing is giving you an explanation on why the phone would say that. Remember, she had a watch on that was hooked up to her phone. If any of you have an Apple Watch or one of those Android watches, you would understand that your phone could be in your purse in another room and your phone rings. And if you have one of those watches, you just hit the watch and go, hello. You could talk into your watch because it's hooked to your phone. That means it's going to do the same thing. It's going to be located. You know what I'm talking about? So that's what I believe happened, is that it picked up as it was using this. And it just, like I said, with mixture of prayer, and it's like me and God worked together on this. And every time I went to look for something, he would show me. He would actually show me. And I guess it's frustrating when somebody else comes out of nowhere and attacks it or attacks me. And I'm not doing this to build my channel. I didn't need to build a channel. The magazine is a digital magazine. Okay, I don't need to do a video. It has nothing to do with me. If you look at the background of Creator, if you go and look at Creator to Class on all of them, and we've got a huge digital footprint. And if you go and look at the magazine's earlier days, you don't see me at all. You'll see my name as an editor on the articles, and that's it. But you don't see me. My face showed up when it came to Mica Miller. And not that I didn't follow other cases, but I never did this. I got involved like this because this was a pastor and his wife, and God told me to do it, and I obeyed. And oh my gosh, the attacks, you would not believe. And I got to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you here. I've gotten sick a few times over the attacks. I'm human, guys. I have feelings. And when somebody attacks my weight, when I've been struggling with this weight since my back surgery, and the fact that I have hypothyroidism on top of it, it hurts. It hurts when you put your heart and soul into something and trying to find the truth. And a pastor, a man who claims to be a man of God, attacks you and gets help from his friends to see that attack through. How many times that it was mentioned that he used the address of a Weight Watchers? He didn't do that by accident. He did that on purpose. Caesar, what a beautiful name. Hi, Trace. There's my co-host right there. Everybody say hello to Tracy. Caesar, that's an awesome name. I like that. They're worried about how I look because they have to have something to attack. Anybody who's real or anybody that's a threat People will attack their work or attack them or attack their looks because they have nothing else to offer. That's what people do. When they feel threatened by somebody, they just attack them. And they don't attack viciously, rah. They'll do it with a nice voice and make it sound like it's not really an attack. It's just my opinion. No. It's how you made the person feel by saying what you said. That's an attack. If you made them feel really bad about what you said, that's an attack. It doesn't matter if you'd said it in a nice, calm voice. That's what manipulators do. Remember, the devil knows how to be the angel of light. The angel of light is not going to come talking like Donald Trump. The angel of light is going to come and speak with a very controlled voice and sound very calming and soothing and be very calm and controlled with how they speak. Yeah. Be careful of those people. Be careful of those people, because those are the people who like to whisper right in your ear with what they want you to hear. And here's me showing up. Hey, I'm real, guys. What you see is what you get, and they hate that. Because why? Because people are starving for the real thing. They're starving for truth. People don't want to have smoke blown up their rear ends. They don't want to be led astray. People want the truth. And that's what you're going to get from me, because I have nothing else to offer. JP, we know he is vain. Hot wife. Yeah. You know what? John Paul must have a circus mirror in his bathroom, because he needs to take a good look at his face. Okay? You know what I'm saying? This ain't no guy I'd put on the cover of GQ. Hello. Is this thing on? So to make fun of me, if I can be 80 pounds overweight and still be cute, can he say the same? He'd look like Porky Pig. I'm just saying, let's be real. Yes, the attacks come as a friend, then they show who they really are. Oh, Tracy, my gosh, that is so true. That is so true. And the very, who said this about your type 1 diabetic, hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's? Oh, eyes wide open. God bless you. Let me tell you about the Hashimoto's thing. That's a scary thing. Both me and my sister were diagnosed with that. And for anybody that doesn't know, that's when you have like goiters or swelling on both sides of your thyroid, on top of hypothyroidism. Yay, it's wonderful. As I'm talking to you, by the way, I just want you guys to know my neck is starting to hurt, but I'm going to get through with this. I wanted you to know this, eyes wide open. No mistake that you told me that. In the summer of 2014, somebody had said to me, take your thyroid medication, but I want you to do this iodine. It was a dropper. It was pure iodine. Put it under your tongue every morning and let it just sit there for like a half a minute. And then, chase it with some juice or whatever, because it doesn't taste delicious. I got to tell you, my endocrinologist was floored, because they went to do another scan of my thyroid and it was gone. Does that get rid of the Hashimoto's? I don't know, but I do know that the swelling and the goiters were gone from the iodine. So I just want you to know that. Have you had coffee? No, I have not. Tracy, if you would have heard me in the beginning of this video, you'd probably say, you haven't had any coffee yet, Anne. I'm going to go have some now. I didn't have any earlier because today I started my first day of Plaquenil. I'm very excited because I'm hoping it's really going to help with the joint pain, and that I'm going to start feeling better. Yeah, eyes wide open. You could get it on Amazon. You could get it at, what's the name of them? Whole Foods has it. I'm trying to think. See so far, that's funny. bellied doughboy on his beach day, gag and laugh, indeed. Um, and they come in a little, bottle, and they have the dropper. You just, fill the dropper halfway. You don't have to fill it in full. Put it under your tongue. Just let it sit there. Again, it's not something you go, yay, this is delicious. It's not even close. And then chase it with anything that you want. As long as it's under your tongue for like 30 seconds, then you're good, because that means it's getting into your bloodstream, and that's what you want. You only have one goiter. Okay, you could get rid of that goiter. I know, yeah. Iodine is directly linked to thyroid issues. I know, because my husband's got thyroid cancer. It's true. And I believe that this is where RFK is going to help us a great deal, because we've been lied to. I'm going to end the show on this. We've been lied to about our foods. The first thing they told us was lower the amount of salt, right? And we all did. Well, what that did was that lowered the amount of iodine in our diet, and then a lot of us ended up with metabolic conditions like hypothyroidism, mostly hypo more than hyper, and Hashimoto's, right? Yes, and we're all deficient in iodine now. The next lie that we're dealing with, and why we have so much Alzheimer's disease, is because they said lower the fat content. And so we lowered the fat content, started taking, what's the name of those things that they make you take for cholesterol? Anybody remembers the name, let me know. And they've got these people taking cholesterol meds. And what happens is it lowers the synovial fluid in the brain and causes the brain to go into dementia and Alzheimer's. You need fat in your diet. I'm not saying go and eat statins. Thank you. Statins are bad. Say no to statins. I'm not saying to go get a fatty piece of beef and just eat all the fat. No, there has to be balance to it, but don't cut out the fat. Okay, there's fats in avocados, fats in regular butter. These fats we need. God knew what he was doing when he made these foods. God knew what he was doing when he made the animals that make these foods. He's not an idiot. And the other thing was soy. If you remember, in the beginning of the millennium, everything was soy yogurt, soy milk, soy this, soy that. Well, soy elevates and increases the estrogen levels in both men and women. And with women, we ended up with, what do they call that? The cystic thing with the uterine cyst, Fatima. What do you call it? It's where you have many cysts, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. The government, big food, and big pharma have been putting us all in controlled poison for decades. You're an RN and you know this. You know what? I believe you. Standard of care, is that what that means? Right on. I like that. Yes. Well, let me tell you something about the soy. Now, this is what it did to women, right? It gave us the polycystic ovarian syndrome. I had it. You know what it did to boys? I believe a lot of these young men that say, I feel like a woman, is because of this. They're not lying. I believe that their hormones were messed up from soy milk as babies, and soy this and soy that as young children. And the mothers didn't know they were harming their children. Think about it. This is the only generation. Think about it. Anybody that was born in 2000, 2001, 2002, how old are they today? And this is the generation that's having an issue with they don't know what gender they are. My kids are in their 30s. My oldest is 40. They don't have a problem knowing if they're a boy or a girl. Why? Because we weren't giving them soy back then when they were growing up. So there's a lot of lies. Himalayan salt, has many minerals and it's very good. That's what I'm here for, guys, is to share all of this. And obviously you guys already know. That's why you're here. I hate the idea to think, though, that we're talking in an echo chamber. I want this to get out to many, many other people that may not know. And so that's why I get aggravated at the drama. That's why I get aggravated at the bad content. And again, this is not, please, please, if you're listening in the background, in the mezzanine, in the hallway, whatever you want to call it, don't go to Agatha, don't go to Robbie, don't go to other people and start causing trouble. This is not what this video is about. This was directed towards everybody, including and especially the people on TikTok. I think your number is up. As a matter of fact, Tracy, I wanted to talk to you about maybe doing something on TikTok later on this afternoon and get some of our people to move over to YouTube, because they're going to need somewhere to go. They're going to want to look for truth, and they're going to want truth, and I do not want them to be hooked up with anybody from somewhere else. I don't know where they're going to go. Okay, so I leave you with that. Again, yes, I came on like a bulldozer and was very upset about what I heard. And again, I was actually approached by somebody about how that video that I did the other day should go to the feds. And I myself was trying to get it to the feds, and I was having a hard time. That person has a direct link to Regina Ward, and I said, would you please send this to Regina and then get her to send it to the feds? I'm thinking about doing that myself just to make sure, but that's what I was told, that it went. Thank you, Melissa. I was told that it did go in that direction. So I'll make sure of it, though. I will make sure of it. Thank you guys for tolerating me for an hour and 27 minutes. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for forgiving me for saying a curse word. Thank you for understanding where I'm coming from. Just thank you for your support. I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate it. And I will see you soon. I'm sure I will see you soon, because God only knows what will come up soon. But until I see you again, and anytime you want to talk about any of these things, please contact me, or including prayer. Okay? But until I see you guys again, stay safe and God bless.